Imagine a financial system designed not for the ultra-rich, not for those with insider knowledge, but for ordinary people, people with average incomes who want to build real, lasting wealth. This is exactly what we'll explore in this video. In this video, you will learn a practical financial system that allows people with ordinary, average incomes to build real wealth over time. This is not a get-rich-quick method. And it also does not depend on high income, special talent, or risky investments. Instead, it's built on principles that anyone can follow regardless of their starting point. At its core, this system works because it separates earning money from creating wealth, two concepts that are often mistaken for one another. Most people assume that increasing income automatically leads to financial security. But in reality, without a structured approach, extra money often disappears as quickly as it arrives. That's where the power of a system comes in. It takes ordinary income and converts it into something permanent and productive. By the end of this video, you will understand 1. Why income alone does not create wealth. 2. The 4-part financial system that converts income into assets. 3. How to apply this system regardless of income level. Why income does not equal wealth. Most people think the path to wealth is simple. Earn more money, get a raise, start a side hustle, maybe even land a higher paying job. The assumption is that more income automatically equals more wealth. But here's the problem. In reality, it almost never works that way. Research shows that as income rises, most people increase their spending at nearly the same pace. This isn't accidental, it's a common behavioral pattern called lifestyle inflation. Essentially, every time you earn more, your expenses quietly expand to match. Think about it. When your income goes up, you move into a bigger apartment or upgrade your home, you get a nicer car or lease the latest model butt. You spend more on dining, subscriptions, and treat yourself purchases. On paper, you're earning more. But in practice, your financial situation hasn't improved at all. Your savings remain stagnant, investments barely grow. The extra money you earned simply disappears, absorbed by new expenses, new commitments, and the illusion of comfort. Here's the key insight that most people overlook. Wealth is not about how much money flows through your hands. It's about how much money you keep, control, and allow to grow over time. Income alone is temporary. It comes in, then flows out again, often leaving nothing behind. Real wealth is about creating permanent capital that works for you, independent of your paycheck. Without a clear system, every raise or bonus is just another opportunity for your money to vanish. It becomes consumption, not accumulation. Even if your income doubles, lifestyle inflation can wipe out any potential financial gains. That's why many high earners still live paycheck to paycheck. They are trapped by spending patterns, not lack of money. The takeaway is simple but powerful. Earning more is not enough. To build wealth, you must separate income from spending and design a system that channels money into assets, investments, and savings before it ever reaches your hands. Only then does your income stop being temporary and start becoming a tool for lasting financial security. Without a system, income becomes temporary consumption rather than permanent capital. So the first step to building wealth isn't working harder, it's thinking smarter about how you use what you already earn. Control your money before it controls you. The core principle of the system. If there's one principle that separates people who constantly struggle with money from those who steadily build real wealth, it's this. Every dollar you earn must have a job before it's spent. Think about how most of us handle money. We earn a paycheck, we pay our bills, we buy what we want, and then if anything is left over, we might save a little. That's the default pattern. Earn, spend, save what remains. And here's the problem. There's rarely anything left. Most people go through life on autopilot, watching their income disappear month after month, wondering why they never get ahead. The system we're talking about does the exact opposite. It flips the script and puts planning first, spending second, and saving as a non-negotiable priority. Here's how it works. 1. You earn money. 2. You immediately allocate it according to predefined rules. 3. You spend only what is set aside for discretionary use. Notice the difference? Instead of leaving your financial future to chance, this system gives each dollar a clear purpose. Some dollars go toward essentials, things like housing, bills, and food. Some go straight into investments, building long-term wealth. Others are reserved for emergencies, protecting you against unexpected shocks. And yes, some are allocated for guilt-free spending, fun money that keeps the system sustainable. This is the foundation of what we call the four-bucket system, and it's what turns income into lasting wealth. Without this structure, money flows through your hands like water through a leaky pipe. No matter how much you earn, it never accumulates. But when you give every dollar a job, it stops being temporary. It starts working for you. Here's an example. Imagine you earn $3,000 a month. Instead of spending freely and hoping for savings at the end, you immediately divide that money. Maybe $1,200 goes to essential expenses, $600 goes into investments, $600 into your emergency fund, and $600 is reserved for discretionary spending. Every dollar is accounted for. You no longer rely on willpower or motivation to make the right financial decisions. Your system does it automatically. The beauty of this principle is its simplicity. It doesn't require you to earn more, take unnecessary risks, or find a magic formula. It works because it removes emotion and guesswork from money management and replaces them with structure and predictability. Over time, as you follow this system consistently, small amounts begin to compound. Your wealth grows quietly and steadily without relying on luck or timing the market. Later in this video, we'll break down the four buckets in detail, showing exactly how to allocate every dollar, how much to prioritize for each category, and how this system creates financial freedom even on an average income. But the most important takeaway right now is this. If you want your money to grow instead of vanish, you must assign every dollar a purpose before it leaves your hands. Master this principle, and the rest of the system will fall into place naturally. Your income stops being temporary, it becomes permanent, productive, and predictable. Bucket 1, essential living expenses. Let's start with the first bucket, the foundation of the system, essential living expenses. This bucket covers the basics you absolutely need to live and function comfortably. Your housing, utilities, food, transportation, and insurance. Think of it as the base of your financial pyramid. If this base is shaky or uncontrolled, nothing built on top of it will stand for long. Here's the key. This bucket must be stable and predictable. That means it shouldn't expand just because your income does. Most people make the mistake of raising their standard of living whenever their paycheck grows. A bigger apartment, a newer car, more subscriptions. These are small, seemingly harmless decisions, but they quietly erode financial flexibility over time. Every extra dollar flowing into lifestyle upgrades is a dollar that could have been invested, saved, or redirected toward building wealth. The goal here is not deprivation. You're not cutting out all enjoyment or living like a monk. The goal is control. Control over your money so it works for you, not against you. When your essential expenses are predictable and capped, you know exactly how much you need each month, and you can plan around it confidently. You no longer live paycheck to paycheck, reacting to expenses as they appear. Instead, you create room for opportunity and for building long-term wealth. Let's make this concrete. Imagine your essential expenses are $2,000 per month. You earn $3,500. That leaves $1,500 that isn't tied up in your survival needs. If your base expenses creep upward with every income increase, say rent goes up, utilities increase, lifestyle upgrades sneak in, you'll find that extra $1,500 shrinking, and your ability to invest or save diminishes. This is why controlling this bucket is the first step toward financial freedom. A stable essential expenses bucket also reduces stress. Life is unpredictable and emergencies happen. If your basic costs are consistent, you have clarity and predictability even when something unexpected occurs. You're not scrambling to cover new bills or struggling to maintain a lifestyle that expanded beyond your income. This stability forms the launching pad for all other buckets, allowing wealth building and discretionary spending to happen without guilt or financial strain. The bottom line, Controlling your essential living expenses is not about living small, it's about being strategic. It's about creating a reliable foundation where money flows efficiently, giving you freedom and flexibility. Once this bucket is under control, the remaining buckets, investment, emergency savings, and discretionary spending, can function properly, and your income begins to work for you instead of disappearing into lifestyle inflation. In short, stability in essentials equals control, predictability, and freedom. Master this first bucket, and you've taken the first giant step toward turning ordinary income into real wealth. Bucket 2, long-term wealth building. Now we move to bucket 2, and this is where the system truly transforms income into wealth. If the first bucket is the foundation, this one is the engine. It's the most important bucket in the entire system because it's the only one designed to make your money grow without your direct effort. Bucket 2 is where long-term wealth is built. This includes retirement accounts, investment portfolios, index funds, and reinvestment into a business or income-producing assets. These are not expenses, they are assets, tools that allow your money to work for you even when you're not working. The defining feature of this bucket is automation. Money must flow into this bucket automatically and immediately after you receive income, not at the end of the month, not if there's extra, and not based on how motivated you feel. Automation removes emotion and hesitation from the process. When investing becomes automatic, wealth creation becomes consistent. Even small percentages matter here. You don't need to invest half your income. In fact, consistently allocating just 10 to 20% of what you earn can be enough to create significant wealth over time. The key is not the amount, it's the repetition. When contributions happen every month, year after year, the system begins to compound quietly in the background. This bucket works because of 3 powerful forces working together: compound growth, market participation, and time. Compound growth allows your money to earn returns on top of previous returns. Market participation ensures that your money benefits from long-term economic growth rather than sitting idle. And time gives these forces the space they need to multiply your results. Here's what most people get wrong. They focus on optimization instead of consistency. They wait for the perfect investment, the perfect timing, the perfect strategy. And while they wait, they miss years of growth. This system doesn't chase perfection. It prioritizes showing up regularly because consistency beats optimization every time. Think of this bucket as planting seeds. You don't dig them up every week to check progress. You plant, water, and let time do the work. Over months and years, something powerful takes root. And eventually, the returns become visible. The moment you start funding this bucket automatically, your financial future changes. Your wealth is no longer dependent solely on your next paycheck. You now have assets growing alongside you, quietly compounding in your favor. Bucket 2 is not about fast results, it's about inevitable results. Follow the system long enough, and average income begins to turn into real wealth, not through luck, but through structure, automation, and time. Bucket 3, financial stability and risk buffer. This is the part of the system most people overlook, but the one that keeps everything else from falling apart. Think of this bucket as the shock absorber of your financial life. Its job is simple: to protect the entire system when life becomes unpredictable. Bucket 3 is your financial stability and risk buffer. It includes emergency savings, short-term reserves, and readily available cash for unexpected expenses. This money is not meant to grow aggressively. It's not there to impress anyone. Its purpose is protection, plain and simple. Without this buffer, even the best financial plan can collapse. When an emergency hits a medical bill, car repair, job disruption, people without reserves are forced into bad decisions. They withdraw investments at the worst possible time. They rely on high-interest credit cards or loans. Or worse, they abandon their system entirely, undoing years of progress in a single moment of stress. This is why Bucket 3 matters so much. It acts as a firewall between everyday life and your long-term wealth. It allows you to absorb financial shocks without derailing your future. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond calmly, knowing your system is built to handle disruption. The general recommendation for this bucket is to hold 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. This means enough cash to cover your basics: housing, food, utilities, transportation, without relying on income for a period of time. This buffer buys you something incredibly valuable: time and peace of mind. And peace of mind changes everything. When you're not constantly worried about the next unexpected bill, you make better decisions. You stay invested. You stick to the plan. You allow your long-term wealth-building bucket to continue growing uninterrupted. This bucket also reduces financial volatility. Life will always be uncertain, but your finances don't have to be chaotic. With a proper buffer in place, income fluctuations and surprise expenses become manageable instead of devastating. Bucket 3 doesn't make headlines. It doesn't feel exciting, but it is the reason the system survives real life. It's the difference between people who panic during financial stress and those who stay steady and keep moving forward. In short, this bucket ensures that short-term problems don't become long-term setbacks. Protect the system, and the system will protect you. Without it, even the best wealth strategy is fragile. With it, your financial plan becomes resilient, durable, and built to last. Bucket 4, discretionary spending. This is the part of the system that surprises most people and the one that actually makes the entire system sustainable. This bucket is for discretionary spending. In other words, it's the money you're allowed to enjoy. Bucket 4 covers non-essential purchases: entertainment, dining out, hobbies, personal treats, and the things that make life feel rewarding beyond just survival. And here's something important to understand. This bucket is not an afterthought. It is intentionally built into the system. Many people believe that building wealth requires constant sacrifice. They try to cut out all fun spending, thinking that discipline alone will get them ahead. But in reality, completely eliminating discretionary spending almost always backfires. It leads to frustration, burnout, and eventually a total breakdown of the financial plan. When people feel deprived, they rebel. And when they rebel, they overspend. This bucket exists to prevent that cycle. By planning for enjoyment instead of pretending it won't happen, this system turns spending into something controlled and guilt-free. You're not guessing whether you can afford something. You're not feeling bad after every purchase. You're spending from a category that was designed specifically for enjoyment. This is where the difference between intentional spending and emotional spending becomes clear. Emotional spending happens when money has no boundaries. Intentional spending happens when enjoyment has limits. When you know exactly how much you're allowed to spend, you can enjoy it fully without anxiety or regret. Another key benefit of this bucket is sustainability. Wealth isn't built in a few months, it's built over years. And no system survives long-term if it feels like punishment. Bucket 4 keeps the system human. It acknowledges that people need balance, experiences, and small rewards along the way. Planned discretionary spending also protects your wealth-building efforts. When enjoyment is accounted for, you're less likely to dip into savings, emergency funds, or investments. Just this once, you're less likely to justify overspending because you already have a designated outlet for fun. This bucket also teaches an important skill: spending consciously. Instead of mindless purchases, you start choosing what truly adds value to your life. You become more selective, more intentional. And over time, that awareness improves your overall financial behavior. The key is balance. Discretionary spending should be limited, not eliminated. Structured, not impulsive. Enjoyable, but never destructive. When this bucket is used correctly, it supports the entire system rather than undermining it. Bucket 4 proves an important point. Building wealth isn't about removing joy from your life. It's about designing a system where enjoyment and progress coexist. When spending is planned and controlled, it becomes sustainable. And when enjoyment is sustainable, the system becomes something you can follow not just for months, but for years. This is how average income turns into real wealth without burnout, guilt, or regret. Why does this system actually work when so many others fail? This system works because it's not built on motivation. It's built on structure. Most people rely on bursts of willpower. They push hard when they feel inspired and stall the moment life gets complicated. This system eliminates that trap by replacing emotion with design. First, it's predictable. Every step is clearly defined. There's no guesswork, no constant decision-making, no daily negotiation with yourself. When the path is predictable, progress becomes repeatable, and repeatable progress compounds. Second, it's scalable. This system works whether you're starting small or operating at a high level. As your capacity grows, the system grows with you. You don't need to reinvent anything. You simply expand what already works. Third, it's emotion resistant. Bad days don't break it. Stress doesn't derail it. Lack of motivation doesn't stop it. This system continues to function even when your energy is low because it doesn't depend on how you feel, it depends on what's already in motion. And finally, it's sustainable. This isn't about sprinting for short-term results, it's about building something that lasts. The system is designed to run in the background of your life, supporting progress over weeks, months, and years without burnout. Here's the most important part. This system does not require perfection. You don't need flawless execution. You don't need maximum effort every day. You don't even need constant motivation. What it requires is consistent application. When actions are automated, consistency becomes easier. And when consistency becomes easier, success becomes inevitable. Building wealth isn't about earning an extraordinary income. It's about having an extraordinary system. Wealth is created through clear structure, automatic processes, and a long-term mindset. When every dollar has a purpose and investing comes before spending, average income stops disappearing and starts compounding. This system removes guesswork and replaces it with intention. You're no longer reacting to money, you're directing it. The real power isn't complexity or secret strategies. It's repetition. Small, disciplined actions applied consistently over time turn ordinary earnings into lasting wealth. That's how wealth is built quietly, predictably, and sustainably. If you found value in this video, kindly subscribe for more insights and drop a comment below. What part of this system stood out for you the most? When focused actions are practiced consistently, average income evolves into something extraordinary.